going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we are going to go over the ending of the Department of Education. We are going to go over, of course, the charges that are now going to be filed, heavy charges against the people that were going after Tesla and their owners. We're also actually going to go over one of the craziest things. If it is true, it will literally change history, and that is exactly what we have on our thumbnail. 600 meters below the pyramids. Again, they are saying that they may have found with special technology that there are these cylindrical objects that go 600 meters down. In fact, in the thumbnail, it says that one person said that this may be a closer, accurate representation, right? What if they were these obelisks things that are buried? And what if this thing did go down 600 meters? What would that mean? What if the pyramids were just the tip of the iceberg? I guess it's completely the opposite, but you get my meaning. But first of all, let's go over this first piece with Attorney General Bondi announces severe charges over the Tesla attacks. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that the Justice Department is bringing severe charges against 3 individuals accused of targeting Teslas with arson, following the White House's vow to treat such incidents as domestic terrorism. Again, the days of committing crimes without consequence have ended, she wrote in a statement on Thursday. Let this be a warning. If you join the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. It says the Justice Department announced charges against the 3 individuals. One person, Adam Matthew Lansky, allegedly threw 8 Molotov cocktails at a Tesla dealership in Salem, Oregon, while armed with a suppressed AR-15. Again, well armed with an AR-15. It seems like the people that have been throwing the Molotovs and the people that have been armed, this is speaking as somebody who went through Chaz when that whole incident happened. If you don't remember Chaz, that was the Summer of Love where my city, people took over an entire 3 city blocks. It was actually a huge city blocks, and had armed men essentially guarding the area. Meanwhile, simultaneously having speeches and protests in the middle of it saying that, we need to get rid of the weapons. It was absolutely just insane. But again, this is something that could have taken lives. Throwing Molotov cocktails, whether it's at midnight or at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, is absolutely insane. So I hope that these people go to prison for an incredible long time. Not to mention, they are also putting the entire neighborhood at danger, knowing what we know here. We've actually talked to Fugle family members that say when you have a Tesla burning, the special chemicals inside lithium, specifically the ones that are in these huge cars, they not only burn for a very long time, but they are dangerous for a very long time. So this is incredible, like incredibly crazy. Stephen McMahon, off to work. Love y'all. Stay salty. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think that they should face? They say that they're supposed to face up to 20 years in prison, or they could, and they might just be made examples of. But again, do you think that that's right? Do you think they should get less time? I don't know about 20 years. Maybe I do think they should get a long time, but 20 years is up there. But again, yeah, maybe 10 years, so like 7 years with good time or something like that. And then, of course, before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. We have talked about this. It is, as far as our opinion goes, one of the most probable events to happen to the United States. If we were to ever be attacked, there are 2 things that really stick out: cyber attack and EMP. Not to mention, of course, we have the natural event, a Carrington-level event from the sun, that it will happen at some point, but that is when it's going to happen, right? As far as from an adversary, which we have almost every adversarial country right now teaming up, an EMP would knock out our grid, and 90% of us would perish in the first year, according to studies. Again, this is something that is a very scary event, and you can actually prevent it from affecting you personally. You can put these on your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, and pretty much anything else with a motor. Again, you can even put them on ham radios to protect them against EMP. Again, you can go over and check them out at marfooglenews.com/EMP. They're very easy, 10 minutes to put in your car. It's the same company that's protecting agencies like DHS and DOD. Again, go check it out, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use the code MARV. Because remember, they all take the tax dollar money to protect themselves, but they're not going to think about making mandates to protect us. All right. Well, I shouldn't say that. The current president, last time he was in office, put an executive order in to protect us, but it's going at a snail's pace because of the last admin. It is now picking back up, but it will take a very long time to harden our grid. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So our next story is, it very well could change history. And I just want to preface this with the fact that anytime that anything questions the history that is ingrained in our history books, unless it has to do with our forefathers, they're totally down to knock down the statues of those. Unless it's regarding those, they will fight tooth and nail, and they will destroy you if you try to mess with what we know is history, especially if it has anything to do with our past, anything, back 2,000 years, 1,000 years, they'll destroy you and tear you apart. But as far as the pyramids, there's a crazy story here, and essentially we dug a little bit deeper on this, and there are two scientists that are doing this. Do you want to explain what they're actually saying here, and why this would be so freaky?
Well, yeah. So what they've discovered, or what they claim to have discovered using some special radar systems over time, and they've released their information, is that there are these massive columns underneath the pyramid. So taking one particular pyramid, like the Great Pyramid of Giza, they're suggesting that there's these massive columns that go way deep underground, and they're suggesting up to like 600 meters beneath the base of the pyramid, leading to an immense construct that's just huge. So they're using advanced scanning technology that's been that's revealed the subterranean formations. The sheer scale of the complexity of the structures suggests like a level of sophistication that is kind of unimaginable, to be honest. And when you think about it, like they put out this video, you can go see it. We've got it linked on our website, diagram explaining what it is, the scientists, and what they've claimed to have discovered. Now, again, this is coming from their work with the sonar, so it's not like it's been completely like somebody's dug up the ground and gone 600 meters down and found all this stuff. So it's just with sonar and their interpretations of the readings.
Now, I also have another part of this puzzle here. Let me see if I still, yeah. So synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography is what they use to do this. And one of the things they actually put in the abstract was a problem with synthetic aperture radar. And if you are smarter than me, then maybe you can tell me what they mean by this last part. It says, the problem with the synthetic aperture radar is due to the poor penetrating action of the electromagnetic waves inside solid bodies, the capability to observe inside distributed targets is precluded. Under these conditions, imaging action is provided only on the surface of distributed targets. The present work describes an imaging method based on the analysis of micro movements of the Khufu pyramid, which are usually generated by background seismic waves. So I'm taking from that usually it can pick up vibrations and seismic waves down there, and maybe something is vibrating and telling them that there's something more there than what we think. And honestly, that even adds more mystery, if that's what that means. As far as the rest of the paper goes, this was by Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malonga. We will try to get the original document for this because we were finding it all over on other pieces of media. But I wanted to get the original document by Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga and dig through it, because this is incredibly interesting. Think about the implications of 600 meters. 600 meters. That's 1,800 feet underneath. Dex, I mean, that's what they said, right? 600 meters. That's incredible. Our Space Needle in Seattle is 600 feet. That would be 3 Space Needles. That would be the tallest skyscraper high, but underground.
Yeah, it's almost a third or over a third of a mile. I mean, that's pretty significant. And if there's a major number of these columns, it begs the question, were they built into the ground, or did the ground rise up around them?
Or
right? Were they, was there something where the pyramid, like the one pyramid, was actually the top of a structure, and we've just seen the fill in over the thousands of years that it's been, or what? Like, how could it be? It's just unimaginable if it's true.
Or did they build the pyramids? What? And I heard one commenter say, did they build the pyramids on top of 3 portals? Like these things were holes down to hell. Like these were the path down to hell, and they put their kings on top of it to cap it off. And by the way, in Egyptian times, they had obelisks, right? It's kind of crazy that this all of the sand, of course, covers this up. What if the world changed throughout time? What if these are actually older than what we think they are? I mean, it's just weird. Of course, there's lots of questions about the pyramids in general, how they were even made. They still cannot make them today. If we wanted to make this kind of construction, we don't make sense of it, because it still does not make sense. How? We do not have a person alive that can tell us exactly how it was done. I mean, they have their ideas, they have theories, they have all of this, but they have no idea how they could possibly do it back then. So we cannot figure out how to do it right now, today, without modern technology. I mean, yeah, we could do it with incredibly advanced machines. We could do it with football field size machinery. But, I mean, we can't do this the way that they would have done it without machinery. And that begs the question, did they have machinery? Did they have technology? Is this even us that made it? It's incredible that, that this is still unanswered. What do you guys think of it? It says, get your shovels. We're going on a field trip. Blessed 80s. Stephanie Munoz, let's see here. What's going on? Troy, nice to see you. Highway, the precision can't be done today. I'm convinced much older than Egyptians. And see what I'm saying? What if this sand wasn't there before? What if an asteroid hit Earth and covered the whole layer of Earth, and these were actually 1,800-foot obelisks or something from a previous civilization that had, this was a skyscraper at one point. It's crazy. And then giants. They had giants and fallen angel technology, says Frank Walls. Yeah, that's the thing. People talk about giants. And for those that think that it's so crazy, one thing I would like to point out is look at dinosaurs. Look at the bones of dinosaurs, the animals, everything. Bugs were bigger. Birds were bigger. In the Bible, it talks about, David and Goliath and things like that. Well, what if, lineages of people just went out? We do have bigger people. I mean, we have 9 feet people. It's just now it's because of a heart disease, or it's because of a growth or a hormone disease, right? What if there was an entire lineage of people? We have people that are extremely small. We have people, pygmies that are tiny, tiny people. So they're not actually that tiny, but you get my drift. And that happens through genetics. So what if there's genetic lines that just died out, that could have died out they were in a single tribe, or they were in a single area that got knocked out by a natural disaster? Natural disasters have knocked out entire tribes in the different places in some of the indigenous tribes and things. Before the flood, giants were 100 feet tall, says Old Combat Vet. Yeah, well, people think it's completely crazy. We're not talking about 1,000 feet tall. I don't know if any of you are, but we're talking about giant people. And it is crazy, but I think there's a lot of fake info and fake stuff that's put out there that is easily debunkable that then burns anybody that goes down that rabbit hole, and they go, oh, this is so fake. And then they go, this is all fake. There's a lot of weird stuff. We've looked at pictures from satellite that show from mountainous regions with what looks like fossilized leaf imprints that are as big as a building, or tree rings that looks like a massive tree that was 100 meters around, things like that. So lots of really, really weird stuff. Gilgamesh, incubate, not hate. Rashid, Highway, nice to see you. Speculate giant asteroid impacted covering the area in sand. Well, they did, they did find a layer of salt in the area where they think that Sodom and Gomorrah was. So now scientists are saying that might verify one of the stories from the Bible, but what they believe it was an asteroid hit. So when they turned around and they all turned to pillars of salt, it was actually an asteroid burning the sand and turning it into salt, or into some sort of process where it just got so hot in a flash. Very, very crazy stuff. All right. Yeah. And again, this stuff will all be available there. And I believe I just closed the next story, and then there is one right between us, right? Between the education.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so if you want to go over that, I'll pull it back up.
So get this. The story coming out of the Keys in Florida. Vincent Vega. And no, I'm not talking Royale with cheese from Pulp Fiction Vincent Vega. A real guy named Vincent Vega, who's a former firefighter in Key West, got pulled over, I guess, for whatever traffic stop. Seemed to be a little bit intoxicated, but had a cut-off rifle, probably an AR, on him, which got the cops looking into him further. Well, as they decided to explore more about this gentleman at the time, it turns out he had an entire cache of weapons, a pipe type explosive device, materials to make more of them, a map to a lot of and sketches about an unidentified building with potential sniper locations in the notes. He was using a mortar-like device to propel metal objects at high speeds, and I think they also said he had a map or something about the some sort of infrastructure. I can't remember if it was electricity or something else. So great catch on the authorities' part, because I guess if they hadn't made this traffic stop, they never would have went any further. And no telling what would have happened with this guy. But yeah, that's a pretty big find, and no telling what he was up to. I guess we may find more out as they dig deeper and the investigation becomes more widely known. But definitely sounds like something fishy was going on or getting ready to go on with this person down in Florida.
I mean, think about this. So this is a sleeper cell. If this is legit, real deal, and they didn't just make this guy up, then this is a sleeper cell. Where was he? What was the date that day? Like, he had a shortened barrel AR-15 in his car in plain view. That's pretty stupid. But look at what he was doing. He was a firefighter. Somebody that if you get pulled over, oh, I'm a firefighter, I'm with the FD. Oh, hey, we got to take care of each other. Go right on through. A lot of the times, firefighters will take care of police officers will take firefighters, or they know each other. So you have firefighters, they'll know all the local police, because they respond to different things all day, every day. So that's a perfect cover for a sleeper cell. And that is freaky, because the firefighters and the police officers, I mean, that's really something that a lot of folks overlook. I mean, we've seen a million views on even this platform of cops that end up kind of getting the pass. Most of the time they do. We've seen the few times also that they, act like they're above the law and another cop busts them, right? Which is usually awesome. All right. Well, again, we're going to follow anything that comes out of this and even more. Tonight, we have to talk about, in the last 24 hours, there's an urgent broadcast right after this, more important than this, which is going to talk about the strikes that just happened. 2 locations at least. There was more than that, but there was 2 major locations. They struck Russia's nukes at the Engful base, So absolutely crazy. A pipeline blew up. Actually, Ilea, one of my mods, sent me that while it was breaking. So thank you, Ilea. And we have so much more. So there's been a ton of events that have just opened up in the last 24 hours. We'll go over that later. And then after that, we'll have some fun. All right. Again, it's again a very packed night. Join us. If you're in the chat, just stay there. You'll be ported over. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. We'll see you in just a minute. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. 600 meters. That is absolutely insane.